Anyways, I have zero makeup on, and I am just, I guess you could say, hanging with some friends. Anyways, um, everybody's asleep, of course, but me. And I just wanted to do a quick live to maybe discuss some things. And so, if the person I invited accepts my invitation, they'll join me. So, we're basically waiting to see what they say. Let's see what they're saying here. Well, this will see if they accept. If they accept, they'll match that link and join me. If they don't, it'll just be us. Anyways, the other night I was going to tell y'all a scary, or two scary stories about um, Wendigos. Y'all, I seen it called, it was a show called, and excuse me again for having no makeup on. It was called Terror in the Woods. It was one of the best shows, in my opinion, that has ever been um, on TV. I just thought it was well done. It was well produced. I just thought it was so good. And what it was is people telling their own stories and their experiences with things they didn't understand, things that they seen that they didn't understand. So I thought it was so good. And I said, I want to discuss those subjects with certain people. And I'll be inviting people on one at a time. Um, I thought I could bring my computer and do it here, but I don't have a way to know their, what do you call that, internet password or anything like that. So, anyways, I'll just have to wait and do one maybe this weekend when I'm not busy or I'm not working. Sophie, hey, Sophie, how you doing? Thank you for joining me. Are you ready for some scary stories? They're true though. That's the only difference in my stories and other people's. Well, I say not everybody. A lot of people tells about people's experiences, and I seen a show called. Oh, let me see, Kiara Kelly. Hey, Kiara, how you doing? I hope y'all subscribed and you're ready to hear some scary stories. Oh my goodness, look who it is, y'all. Oh my gosh, I'm blushing. He finally said yes. Okay, let me find the light. I was sitting in a lamp, um, sitting at a lamp all by myself in the living room, but now that Big Tech joined us, this is so exciting. I didn't know if I could pull this off. Anyways, I wanted to tell y'all this man has so much experience, and he is joining me from Texas front porch. And don't be like me, don't be a blonde and look up TXAS front porch. It showed me every house in the state of Texas. I thought, oh my God, I'll never find this man's show. So, anyways, but y'all, this is Tex from Texas Front Porch joining me tonight. Thank you so much for joining us, Tex.
Oh, pleasure.
I have some
So
things
much for
in
joining.
I have some things that I want to throw out there at you, and I want you to discuss them with me. The other
Um,
night, I had them on my mind, and I said, I got to ask him if he'll join me and discuss these with me. They've been on my mind. Bear
sure.
down. Oh my goodness. I'm getting a lot of stuff saying bear down. What the Sigma? What does that mean? Anyways, but yeah, I had watched a show one time called, um, let's see, Terror in the Woods, and it was absolutely. See, I love anything true documentaries, true stories, anything like that. This was people telling their experiences, and text. It was so frightening to watch some of these people tell what they had been through. I mean, you could just tell grown, successful men and women with tears in their eyes trying to get their stories out. And I guess I could go ahead and tell you. Um, I'm not going to tell you when it happened, but I'll just put it like this. It was quite a while ago, and it was such a bad experience telling my story um, that I was fixing to cut all interviews out totally. It was such a bad experience. I went from feeling very welcome and they were willing to hear what I had to say. And the first comment that somebody posted saying, you know her pictures aren't real, right? These people from this show that invited me to give the interview swarmed. I mean, they just ate that person's comment up and just, it was a sight. And I thought, okay, I've always said, hey, this is the reason people don't tell what happens to them. This right here. Well, when it happened to me the other day, whoo, forget about it. I didn't want to tell nobody. I absolutely was fixing to just stop doing shows totally. And I finally said, oh my God, what am I doing? I'm letting them win. And I ain't, I ain't having that. I'm too hard headed. I'm so glad you're here, Tex. But we've been talking about doing this for a little while. And
Hmm.
like I said, I'm going to try to get it set up through my computer. But y'all know I hadn't had a computer for just a few days. So I'm
We're
gonna try to
working
get
on it.
it set up. Yeah, we're working on it. But I'm just glad we have a phone to do an interview on. Hey, howdy to everybody. Bear down. The picture is of Kendall Joseph on his second channel, Eugene Dingleberry. Okay, I don't know what that is. I have no idea who that is. Anyways, we'll just ignore that and we'll tell you. I'm tell you and ask your opinion about something.
All right.
All right. I want you to, first of all, when you get a minute, and I know
Hmm.
that you're very busy and sometimes you don't have an extra minute, but when you
Go
get a
ahead.
minute, I want you to pick out a show called Terror in the Woods. And like I said, it's people's, stories of not just stories. I mean, they've lived through these nightmares. It's like brothers and cousins that went on a boat together, friends that went on boats together and ended up having a night they didn't never see, coming at them. Um, it was a woman that took her daughter and her son and their friends to a cabin just to have a birthday celebration, and it went awry. I mean, it's just some of the most scariest uh, confrontations. But there were two of them. And, I watched a lot of them. I watched everything from Bigfoots um, to a couple dogman attacks, things like that, which I will be, when you're ready to tell me your story, I will be willing to listen to your experience, whenever you're ready. But I do want to tell you, when I seen these two people tell their stories about a Wendigo, I was lost. I went, oh my God. First of all, if they really look like they look on TV, that's the most frightening creature. This thing was horrific.
Yeah,
Um,
there's different there's different descriptions of them on how they look, but yeah, they're not what I would call a good looking thing.
the noises they made. A fella was at a cabin with his parents. The parents went down to fish.
Hmm.
And they asked him if they said, you want to join us? Well, of course, he's going to stay on his phone and on his computer. He was a young child, like a teenager. So he told him, he said, no, I'll just stay here at the cabin. Well, right after they left, it wasn't but a few minutes, and he heard somebody almost like a horse, like hoofs,
Hmm.
walking click, 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 across this gravel, across the asphalt in the driveway, and it slowly come up on each step like a horse hoof. It was just so scary to hear you know. And then they said that they got to the door and they said, "Let me in." And it sounded just like the mother.
Hmm.
And the little boy said, "Mama, is that you? Are you back so soon?" And they said, "Let me in." And he said it was my mother's voice. And he said he looked out the window, of course, and seen this thing that was the most horrible looking thing that you'd ever see. I mean, it was frightening. I do want you to go check out Wendigo Stories from Terror in the Woods. But
Yeah,
like I
I've
said,
seen a few. I've seen a few episodes of it.
it was freak. It's one of the best shows I've seen in a while. It was so good, so detailed. It was produced so well. And I'm not sure who produced it, but it was so good. But he finally said that the more he stood there, because he was seeing a creature with his mama's voice, like,
Hmm.
and it was not moving, but it was saying, "Let me in, son, let me in." Well, he said he stood there in front of the door, and that it finally got mad. And it was saying, "Let me in," like in this deep, it started getting deeper and deeper. And it just sat there in front of the door. This poor child was sitting there in front of the door, just shaking. And when the parents got back, he said, "Mama, did you ever come back? A few minutes after you left." And she said, "No, we're just now getting back now. Why?" And he said that he's seen that thing for years and years. He said that he's seen it when he went camping. It didn't approach him that time. It just stood there watching him when he was camping.
Right.
And then he started dating a girl. He went to the girl's house, and this thing showed up in the bedroom while they're talking. It showed up in the bedroom and scared her to death because she started seeing something interacting with him. And it'll just scare you. And I thought, oh my God. So if you tell me that you've had an experience with a dog man, and like I said, I'm ready when you are to hear it. And then you know what I've seen. If I ever seen one of these Wendigo things, I swan it, I would absolutely cardiac arrest right there on the ground. I mean, just,
Well, we may have or may not have um, run across the tracks of one. It depends on what you believe and how they look and all that kind of stuff. But up in our research area, we were coming down one night, and it was an active night, and we just
let's,
got.
let, let's say hey to Ristal. We don't want to forget Ristal's the first one we recognize on here. Hey, Ristal, go ahead, Tex. I'm sorry. Thank you,
But
Ristal.
one of our trackers noticed there was a pile of sand over off the trail a little bit. And he goes, "Well, hang on a second. I want to go check this pile of sand out, see if there's any tracks or anything." And hey, Sparky, and
Hey,
we found two hoof tracks that were 12 to 14 inches around.
hoof track.
So, and there's a picture that we pulled out of that same area. Then we went back and tried to recreate it, and we took measurements and everything. We couldn't recreate the picture, but there's something big and dark standing back in the trees. And if it's standing on the log that was there, it was 12 feet tall. If it wasn't, it was 14.
Oh my God. Oh my God. So scary. Hey, Tennessee, Hooking Good Creations. Thank you for
Hey,
joining
Tina.
us, David. Oh my goodness. That's just terrifying. Well, would you rather talk about it now, Tex, or because I don't want to put you on the spot tonight? It was just going to be a no makeup. Y'all see what I'm wearing? I'm wearing no makeup, flannel shirt. It is just one of these relaxing kind of, you know, um, style free kind of days. Uh, anyways, and I just thought I just want to talk to Tex and see what he's up to and see if he'll talk to us and do a little show with me. And I want Levon on here to tell me about her experience also. And I've got a couple more. But Tex, I don't want to put you on the spot. If you don't want to feel like telling me what happened to you with the dogman experience, you don't have to. We can do it on another show when you've rested a little bit. You've had a busy day. But tonight, I
Good.
wanted to ask your opinion basically because it's one thing to hear that we have Bigfoot and Dogman, but I was so afraid when I heard that we had these things also. That's terrifying to me. I mean, I cannot
But,
imagine.
well, there's a lot of things out there that we don't understand and we can't explain.
Can you
Um,
tell me some of them that you have heard or maybe know of that we?
well, I mean, you've got the Wendigo, of course, you got Mothman, you've got the Lugaroo, the Rougarou. I mean, it's Lachusa. I mean, there's a lot of cryptids.
Oh, what
Um,
about that rake thing? That's scary too.
the rake that is, that's a term that is relatively new. Um, but I personally think it's the same thing that we used to call a ghoul back in the day. Um, and it seems to like graveyards, like like many of these cryptids do for some reason. Um, but it's not nice whatsoever. It's very generally very described as very pale, very thin. You know,
There was a
keeping
video of
away.
one screaming. Whoa, did you see that video of that one screaming? That was sitting on the side of the tree like this and
Yeah.
screaming. Oh, that thing was horrible. I want to read this comment and don't have my reading glasses. They're in my purse. So, Tex, keep talking about this rake.
Um, but we're not. I know a lot of we've talked about this on my show quite a bit. Um, that is it possible that this rake is one of two things? It's either um, a manifestation that
Non-professional.
um, it's either a manifestation of something that has came along, fairly recent, much like Slender Man. And I think if anything, if you give anything enough energy, we can possibly manifest them ourselves.
I
And it
heard you
may,
say that on one of your
yeah.
shows, and I thought, my God, if that's true, can you imagine the stuff in the world if we
Well,
can
and
manifest?
what you have to remember, we can manifest things good and bad. You know,
Mm.
but with all the negative energy in the world right now, mm, um, there's no telling what's out there. But you got Slender Man, you got the Rake, and if the Rake is not a, a manifestation um, of us recently, um, I think it's probably, like I said earlier, what we called a ghoul, back in the day.
I
Hmm.
told y'all he's a busy man, and the fact that he come on here with me shows how big his heart is. Because he could have said Selena another time, but I've been watching his shows. I think he really has an awesome cast, and I have a
Thank
couple
you.
of favorites. I like Paranormal Paw too. I think Donnie Choke people like that. I think they. I like their ideas and their thoughts on things and Texas uh, first of all, won my heart as a friend. His personality made him. It's like we was friends for 20 years. I'm not kidding.
Yeah,
The first time I
yeah.
talked to him, I was like, "Oh my gosh!" It's like with Duke, you feel like you've known him for years. And y'all know I must really, really thank a lot of this feller to come on here with no makeup to do a live.
Well, makeup or no, you look gorgeous. So there you go.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that, Tex. I really do. I've got to use some chapstick. Anyways, listen, we're going to talk about you tell me, I'm gonna take you young as a sign, but y'all having to use a lot of chapstick because it's stinking weather. My lips are wanting to split wide open. Anyways, I'm gonna tell y'all some personal experiences, and then I'm gonna let Tex tell a couple of his. Something that I do know that happened that I can't explain. Uh, I'm not saying I seen nothing. I'm not saying that something appeared in front of me. See that thing that happened in the sky last January? Y'all, I still don't know what that is. And undoubtedly, neither does MUFON, because they said they'd reach back out to me in a week or so with an answer. Well, I still ain't heard from them, and that was last January. And then uh, what I seen on August the 7th of 24 on the job delivering court documents, I know what I seen. Nobody's ever going to change my mind. And because of my bad experience with my interview, I will never do a one on one interview again. They did ruin that. I will never do a one on one interview to tell my story again.
Why not?
I will go on a panel and I will do a casual communication with people about my interview, but I will not go from A to Z again, and I will never show my pictures again. I know what I seen. Nobody needs to tell me that they don't believe in my pictures or that I didn't really see what I seen because they can't see it in my pictures. All of that to me was unprofessional on their part. And I was very, very, very hurt and upset by that. So Selena's one on one interviews telling what happened to me on August the 7th won't happen again. But I will sit down casually and I will continue my show and I'll have guests on and I'll give them the option of just talking casually like we're doing or maybe just throwing out what their experience was. But I will never put anybody under the pressure to judge their photos. I was not there. I didn't see this. I didn't see what you seen. Tex, I didn't see your dog man. You didn't see
Right.
my Bigfoot. You didn't see that thing that appeared last January. So we need to stop judging, first of all. We've got to remember when you judge, do you know how immature you look and how,
Well,
absent minded? Selfish? You sound selfish.
well, the thing about it is, and I've told you this before, and I've told everybody this before. If you're going to do this, if you're going to open your platform, it's not your job to judge, right?
Thank you. Thank you.
It's just not. And when it's like when you were on my show and we were breaking your pictures down, you know, um, it's trying to it's trying to bring in the what's in the pictures out, you know. Well, it's much like the one with the X formation. We found something that wasn't back there that we wouldn't seen,
Well, the good news is,
you know.
folks, after they downgraded my photos and the show was over, they sent me pictures where they had enlightened my pictures and added a certain color, and them boogers stood out like no tomorrow.
Hmm.
Well, it's already too late because you've put me on your show. You've let me pour my heart out, be so nervous and embarrassed to be even telling the story to begin with. And then you're going to sit there and talk about my pictures like I made all this crap up and just took photos of bushes. And then when the show's over, you're going to send me highlighted photos of big boogers that weigh about 1,000 pounds and send them to me. That was unnecessary. I know what I caught in the first place. You waited to not you, Tex. You, I'm saying this about somebody. They waited till the show ended and then enlightened my photos where them stood out like this right here. What, you gonna send them to me after you've sat there and showed them what you said wasn't good pictures? You're gonna send me those afterwards? Why didn't you do that before you interviewed me and show them boogers on TV the way that are on the show the way that you sent me after the show? I'm sorry. That was unprofessional. And I won't never forget that. Now I will
Well,
forgive you,
you
but I
shouldn't
won't
you
forget.
shouldn't you shouldn't ambush somebody like that. That it's like you said, it's not professional.
Mm.
You know,
So
and
I mean,
there's
it,
ways there's ways to say things. You know that well, it's like when we were talking when we were going over your photos. You heard me say a lot. I can see where you're seeing that. You know, I personally can't make it out yet, but I'm not going to judge because I want to work on these more,
Mhm.
right? You know, um, so you don't ambush your guest. You just don't do it.
No.
That's and I've been there. I've been there. You know, so I understand how you
I'm gonna
feel.
say, this is how it happened. I'm gonna say this. It was as if I called you for an interview. You came on my
Hmm.
show. I looked at your photos and I said, well, Tex, I just don't see what you see. I'm not saying you didn't see it, but I
Yeah,
just don't see what you see. Well, the show ends and then you send me a mirage, or I send you a mirage of pictures where I've added color and then boogers standing there like big old humongous. Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, I'm like, why didn't you do that and add it to the interview where the whole world could see it? Why did you
which
send them to me? It was like they were apologizing to me by proving to me, hey, we finally see what you've been telling us. Well,
yeah,
it's done too late now. You've made me look like an idiot to a bunch of hundreds of people on the interview.
right.
So I'm getting over that. I'm just now getting over this. So it's done something to me, and I now see for sure. I said it before, but I mean it. I do know now why people see it and never say it.
Hmm.
I
It's not.
absolutely.
I mean, what do you have to gain except ridicule?
That's it.
You know. Um,
And Tex, do you mind when people comments? I can't see for some reason out of these glasses. I think I grabbed somebody else's or something off the table.
yeah, I'll watch chat for you. No problem.
Thank you.
Um, well, Sparky says you should be open with friends. Remember, some people will not, cannot even, if you have evidence, say yes because they are scared to think it could be real. Um, I understand what you're saying, Sparky. I really do. Because if somebody if somebody sees this thing or these things, whatever, they don't want to admit to themselves what they saw.
I still don't.
Okay. um, because it can be very traumatizing. It can be, you know, it can change the way you live your life. Okay, and if you're going to, like I said earlier, if you're going to give somebody a platform, you can't ambush people. Okay, um, just because you had an experience and I didn't doesn't mean you didn't have one. Okay, just because our experiences weren't exactly alike doesn't mean yours is right or mine's right. Okay. There's so much out there that we do not understand. There are no experts in this field. None. I don't care who they are. And if somebody talks down to you on their show, that doesn't speak good to about them at all. It really doesn't.
I
Um,
was pretty shocked at how the whole thing was handled myself. I
yeah,
still love them because you know my heart. I love everybody, even if it hurt me. I still love them. So I'm trying to just put it out of my mind. But it did scare me enough, and I think it embarrassed me
yeah,
because I
yeah,
was like,
of course.
where, where was these when I was on air in front of hundreds of people while you was interviewing me? Where was these? I mean, now that you're showing me how defined they are, why did you personally send that to me? Why didn't you show that on the interview? It would have made people say, "Hey, dang, them things are very clear."
Yeah,
Which people did, most of them.
yeah,
But of course, they focus on the one that says, y'all know better than believing what she's saying. I don't see nothing in those pictures. So if they want to focus on the one negative interview compared to all the positive, like I said, it just scared me away from doing one on one interviews about my experience. And I just don't want to do one. I'm turning them down. Like I'm right now turning down interviews for people asking me to come on their shows to give my story. It just done something to me. And I just wanted to just get that off my chest. And I wanted to talk tonight
Yeah.
about several things. And I want you to kindly make me forget all that bad experience and let's get back to believing what people tells and believing what they say they experience. And I won't never. So I learned a big lesson from what they did to me. I've learned a big lesson. Anybody can say anything they want to on my channel as long as they respect others and they can
Hmm.
tell me what they've seen, and I will never, to my hand to God, will ever say, I don't see what you see. I will never do that, ever.
Well, see, but there, okay, so, but there's nothing wrong with that because that's how, you know, that's how you have to explain what's there, because not everybody's going to see what you see. Not
Well,
everybody sees what I see,
it,
you know.
again, I think the reason that them saying I don't see what you see didn't bother me. It was that they seen what I seen when they sent me the pictures after the interview,
Yeah,
which means why didn't they do that during the interview instead of making me look like an idiot? But yet they sent me the pictures after the interview saying, wow, Celena, these things really were huge. Look what we
right,
found by
right,
putting the color on top of these things. Well, everybody that sat there and watched you say, I don't see what you see. Well, of course, you're going to have viewers say, well, don't believe her. There ain't nothing in her pictures. So, and then you're going to send me pictures afterwards that you see stuff finally. Well, it's
right.
too late. You've done made me look like an idiot. Do you see what I'm saying? So
Yeah, I see
that's
your point.
that's the point I'm trying to get over is the pictures they sent me afterwards.
Yeah.
So yeah. But Lord of mercy,
Mhm.
I'm telling you, they were some fright. That's the first time I've ever heard of Mike Woolley. You know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, I don't mind.
Oh my gosh, when he told his story, I seen his story for the first time on Terror in the Woods. I was like, oh my gosh, can you imagine that thing screaming at you and you're stuck up in a tree stand and that thing comes running at you and yet you hear something else blowing a big loud train whistle over here and this one's responding and all of a sudden it's running at you. And
Yeah,
and that's even before I even thought them things are real. I'm watching stuff like that. But I still didn't believe it because it didn't happen to me. You know what I
right.
mean? So, anyways, but yeah, it's so important, y'all, that we don't stop people from talking. We don't stop
Hmm.
people from telling us what they've experienced because they're gonna do like I'm doing right now, which is clam up about what happened to me. And I just I've got to get over it, and I know I do, but I think it was more embarrassment. It was pride.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not that I don't see what you see. I've heard that. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't it. It was that they seen what I seen after the show and sent apology photos. Apology
Well,
photos. That's what it was.
if they wanted to make it right, they should have. They should
we
have.
don't.
They
We
should. They should have.
don't
Well, well, what they should have done is admitted they were wrong. Come out and go look. Here's what we found in these pictures, and we apologize.
that would be wonderful, but I know that'll never
Yeah.
happen. Anyways, but so let's move on. Let's move on. So, anyways, I know you're tired and you did this just for me. So, is there any specific subject or anything that you want to talk about right quick before you get ready to rest? Because you are a big deal. I'm sharing your name to everybody.
I'm not a big deal. I'm a little fish in a big pond. That's all there is
we,
to it.
we love Tex here in Alabama, y'all.
Um, well, we're talking about the whole dog man phenomenon versus the Bigfoot phenomenon. And much like you were talking about, it would be much easier, and I've said this 1,000 times. I wish I'd seen a Bigfoot. It'd been a hell of a lot easier to explain, you know, um, because even in thank you, Sparky. He says we watch all Texas shows in Idaho too. Um, and I do want to address this. People are asking who did this to you. I want
Oh,
to
no,
commend
no,
you.
no.
No, no, no.
I wasn't doing
I want to. Let hang on, hang
it.
on. I want to. I want to say I commend you for not dragging their name through the mud.
No, I'm
That's very.
not.
That's
I'm
very.
telling
That's very.
y'all that
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's very big of you to not do that. Is what I'm
I
saying.
will never. I'm never gonna. I'm never
Yeah.
gonna.
Yeah.
Because I still love them. I think that they made a mistake, and
Hmm.
I forgave them. See, because that's my heart. I love everybody. People says
Right.
there ain't nobody on the face of this earth that loves everybody, and I said, then you don't know my heart. I love everybody, even people that I've never even met before. But because I know that regardless of what the world thinks, that there's a little good in everybody, a little
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
everybody. And so I try to find the good. I just do. That's just
Now,
me.
Lenita.
But anyways, go ahead with your story. I'm sorry, Ted.
No, I was just saying. It's even in this community.
Hey, Lanita.
Sometimes it's because I to this day I still have people going. If they want me to go speak somewhere, we want you to come speak on Bigfoot, and but no dog man. Okay, well, that's fine. You know, um, but I don't think that you can take somebody like myself that saw this thing in the daylight 25, 30 feet away from them while they were walking and tell me I misidentified something. But you're willing to but you're willing to take my word for every Bigfoot that I saw. That's a hard line to draw in the sand. It doesn't make any sense. So if you're going to believe me when I tell you that I saw these Bigfoot, why aren't you going to believe me when you're trying to tell me I misidentified this? No, I didn't. No, I didn't. You know, if that's not part of if that's not the subject matter, and you don't believe in that kind of stuff, I get that. But don't tell me that you think it's hogwash. You're calling me a liar, right?
Now you
Yeah.
feel like I do.
So
Kind of the
and
same thing there.
yeah, yeah. But and platforms like yours and mine and Brent's and the Blondes and several others and Danielle and Randy and the list goes on. But um, just because our experiences are different, you know, um, like I said earlier, it doesn't mean we didn't have them. It's different. And I've never had anything mind speak to me or anything like that. But if I do, I'll be the first
Mhm.
one going, "Hey,"
Right.
you know.
Y'all ain't gonna believe what this thing did without even
Uh-huh.
moving its mouth. But
Hmm.
no, I've never had that any kind of thing like that happen. And they asked me, did I hear anything? Did I smell anything? And I was like, "Nuh-uh, locked car."
Yeah.
But
But see,
anyways,
about the whole scent thing, and everybody talks about how these things stink. I don't think they stink all the time because if they stunk all the time, I'd have smelled them, right? And I've only got whiffs, okay, of things. I think it's something they at least have a little control over. I think it's something that they can use to their advantage, but almost like a first line of defense. But I also think it's probably something that um, happens when they get excited or agitated. Okay. So it's something to do with it's a glandular thing. I don't think it's just something they walk around all day stinking like garbage. I don't believe that at all. Because the first Bigfoot that I saw, that coat was manicured. That coat was taken care of. It was, in fact, both of them I've seen they were clean, and they were not matted, you know. I think they spend a lot of their time grooming each other. I really do. If they
that's
didn't, if they
you know,
didn't, they yeah.
chimpanzees do that. So
Hmm.
crazy you said that.
Well, I mean, hey, we do too. First thing I do when I get home, I got to you got to do check for ticks. I mean,
That's right. I just got through saying not right now, but for about 5 days I went to the beauty shop. Uh, anyways, But yeah, I was thinking, I thought, um, when you know that you have seen something that has absolutely, like you said, changed your whole way of thinking, your whole
Mhm.
life, and gave you some kind of like, I guess you would call it a little PTSD about
Mhm.
something you don't understand. Um, like me, when I went outside, I was sitting in my car a while ago, and I wanted to do a little short just to let everybody know that I'm busy throughout the week, but I'm gonna try to do
Mhm.
a little show this weekend. Don't give up on me. Well, I just got to thinking, I thought, hey, maybe Tex will give me a minute to do a quick show. But anyways, I was out there and I was in my car, and man, I hit them locks. And I was like, this is beautiful out here. I'm out here by a lake. It's got one of those beautiful, humongous white homemade bridges across the lake. I mean, it's just like something out of a picture. But at
Mhm.
night, what do you think I'm thinking about? I can't see. I'm sitting here in a locked car and I can't see. So see y'all, I mean, even though I'm on a beautiful piece of property throughout the week and over here visiting and all, uh, I'm just saying, that kind of stuff I can't even enjoy sitting in my car just thinking, I'm over here by this beautiful piece of property. I'm wondering, well, what if it comes up at the window? Don't crack your window enough where their hands can get in. I mean, which story was it? Somebody said it had reached its hands in the window. What story did I tell? Somebody had told me that, and it had reached its hands through because they had left 2 inches open on the
Mhm.
window, and they're trying to break the window. Oh, Ted Bundy, to Lanita, Ted Bundy. And so, now I have 2 inches on my mind. Like, Selena, if you crack your window, don't crack it 2 inches. Because you can't forget that Ted Bundy thing about him trying to stick his fingers 2 inches into the window and get Lanita. That's my dear friend, and you love her too. You know what I mean? And I was like, the thoughts of losing her, like those other people lost their family and friends. I can't imagine. So it just made me love Lanita even twice as much as I already do. And it made me realize, yeah, this world is so small. It is so
Mhm.
small that something that the world knows is a massive serial killer can try to get our friend that just lives 30 minutes from me.
Mhm.
That I had dinner with, and that we laugh and cut up with each other. It that he could have took her, and she could have been in one of his big counts of serial
Mhm.
killing. It's just horrible. You just can't get stuff like that out of your mind. So not only am I thinking about that 2 inch thing a while ago while I'm outside, it's also dark, and I'm also thinking about, there's woods all around me. And
Hey, pops.
I'm gonna, I'm gonna give you another little. Yesterday was my first time visiting over here.
Mhm.
Today's my second day visiting over here. Anyways, well, I went outside and stood right outside the door last night, and I'm looking and I'm saying, okay, I can't help but think not only is it dark and there's woods all around me, but listen to this. Here is a humongous lake right over here, which if people know me personally, they'll know what I'm talking about. I mean, right here at the end of the driveway I'm staying at right now throughout the week, right over here at the very edge of the driveway is a company who throws hundreds of pounds of chicken in humongous dumpsters every single night. Are you putting two and two together?
Mhm.
I'm saying, would this not be the perfect opportunity for them to come over here, not only have plenty of water right here at this humongous lake, but also they have their very own restaurant right here. So I'm thinking, okay, they're always saying it needs to be. They're probably located somewhere where there's food and water, and I'm going, oh God, I'm connected because you can hear them out there dumping all night long, and I did security at these chicken places. I know how many pounds of chicken gets dropped, and they take it with a one of those, what do you call it, things you drive out there and dump it.
Yeah.
Um,
Front end
yeah,
loader, forklift.
Yeah, forklift.
Um,
And
well,
people
you
take
know,
them by loads and loads. If they drop it, they can't use it, so they put it in the back in big dumpsters, and they use it for dog food and stuff.
mhm,
Well, they have. Hey, all they got to do is just climb right over the fence, get them some, and there's plenty of water right yonder. And I got to thinking, see, once you see something like that, you can't get that mess out of your mind. Like I should have been able to step out the front door and enjoy my view, but I was
you'll get
thinking
there.
about all this other stuff.
You'll get there. You're still dealing with it.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I count every once in a while: August, September, October, November, December, January. It's only been not even 6 months quite yet. I don't
There's
think so.
there's there's people that it takes years. I mean, it took me when I had my first, the dog man sighting. It took me better part of a year to start going back out in the woods. You know, it takes a while. You got to take baby steps. You're still trying to
Well,
get your mind wrapped around
thank you for tonight. I know you're tired, Tex, but from my heart and all these viewers' hearts, listen to me. Thank you, because you calmed my nerves. I was upset. Hey, my buddy Gary. Anyways, uh, but yeah, I just want you to know it means a lot to me that you last minute accepted, and like I said, I'm gonna get Levon on here too. But I didn't even think I was gonna do. I don't know. It even done something to me, and for a minute there, I was like, I ain't even gonna do no more shows. And then I said, wait a minute. They ain't taking that joy away from me. Now
it.
they
There you
did
go.
scare me. They did scare me. I don't want to do another interview. Not a one on one telling my story. They did scare me. I don't want to do that for a while because I did feel sabotaged, and I felt like they should have went publicly and shown the pictures they sent me after the
Mhm.
interview publicly. They should have went and said, look what we found after we went and
Yeah.
studied Selena's pictures. Look, y'all, we were wrong, dude.
Yeah.
But that's not what happened. So, because of that, I'm just going to do free for all. Get on here, come and be a guest, and let's smile and tell our stories.
There you
There
go.
has to be no pressure. And you stepped up tonight like a big dog, just like I knew you would, Tex, as tired as you are. And you came through for me and made me take it off my mind for a little while. So
Good.
I appreciate you so much.
My pleasure. My pleasure. I'm glad you had me on. We'll do it again.
Okay, all right. Let me know when you're ready. I
We'll get
love
you. We'll,
you.
we'll, we'll get y'all set up. We love y'all. We'll talk to
Okay,
y'all
bye.
later.